Hi, I'm Seamless, and this is Seamless Live 13, because I guess I'm calling the show that now. And today we have with us Xilent, Direct, and Shaun Law. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
I
Hi.
let's make it easy for everybody real quick. I'm Shaun.
I am Xilent.
And I'm Direct.
Awesome.
Now you should be able to distinguish between our voices.
Very good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to open up to some callers to the Skype Seamless Live, which is up in the corner of somewhere. There, I'm pointing at it. And basically, you're going to QA it up with people, and we'll see where the show takes us for the next hour and a half. So, you guys in the chat, bring on the calls.
This is gonna get interesting.
We got a call. Make sure if you call that you mute the stream, because if I pick up and it's you, it's gonna be weird. So that you know. Hello, Jonah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I have a question for you. This is more of a music philosophy question.
Okay.
Now, I'm wondering, do you think it's okay to hate an entire genre of music? Because I enjoy making trap, big room, and Melbourne, and the big craze is to hate trap and big room. So what's your take on that?
I will answer your question. Thank you for your question.
No problem. I'll go back to the stream.
Yeah. That's also what's going to happen is that after you ask the question, I'm going to hang up because that's so you can hear the answer to your question on the stream. I think my opinions on Big Room and Trap are pretty well known. What do you guys have to say about that?
Oh fuck. I dislike Big Room very, very much. Trap, I don't have a problem with Trap. I don't like Big Room. I think it's too easy.
I have actually a very positive opinion on both. I didn't like Trap at first, but then I started to like it a lot after the production got a little more complex. I think Big Room has a lot of value to it if it's done right, but I think that every type of music has its place, and Big Room is great live, and Trap is great live, but I'm not going to just lay down in bed and listen to Big Room. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, similar opinion. I mean, unless someone can change my mind about Trap and Big Room, that they're actually sophisticated, well-produced, amazingly, a lot of time put in, a lot of time and effort put into production on those. Unless can someone prove that to me, I'll just, a bit,
But I think that comes from a producer standpoint. It's like, I don't think, some girl who goes to a festival is really going to care. As long as it's fun,
Yeah.
I like fun music, and if it's fun and it's badly produced, I'll probably not like it as much, but it's still fun music,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And that's one big thing that I want people to remember here is you're asking producers this question. So we're going to give completely different opinions than what he said, just some girl or just some guy who goes to a show and, they'd like to hear that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not going to lie, Trap, I had a very kind of bad opinion on Trap until I went to a Cookie Monster show. And, dude, that shit goes off live. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing.
It really does. Yeah, that's true.
and that's how I felt until I saw Flinch, too.
Yeah.
See, I understand.
Flinch started with something else, though. I remember when
Yeah.
Flinch was doing a really melodic dubstep as well.
Oh, yeah.
Although when it comes to Trap, it basically is just like rap instrumentals, which is basically just going back up 25 years in the past and listening to all the stuff we used to listen to, but just without the vocal. And that's basically that's what Trap is to me. Lasers instead. Without the vocal.
Lasers forever. See, I was initially really excited for Trap because I actually started out as a hip hop producer back in 2004 because I like hip hop. I just really hate what it became as a phenomena, like the pop aspect of it. I just hate it so much. I like the beats.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And I love the culture behind the old school hip hop. But then it just became something stupid. And then Trap came around, and I thought that would actually bring it back. That it would be mostly about the production and about the beat, and it'd be really cool. But then it got watered down so hard. It just didn't go where I thought it would. So I kind of feel angry at it for not being what I thought it was going to be. And then Big Room, I kind of have the same problem with it that I do hard style, which is there's not a lot going on. And as a sound designer, it kind of annoys me. But I also understand that it's designed for a live audience, like hardstyle especially, as well as big room.
Exactly.
And this connection actually was something that BT told me when a while ago, because I was talking about big room because I brought up LRAD because I'm a fan of Rob Swire's like production and old Knife Party stuff and old Pendulum stuff, and then he makes that track, and like I wasn't prepared for that, such an epic letdown of a drop. But then BT explains to me, well, those things are designed specifically to rock as hard as possible in a live setting, which is not something that you can really get across listening to it, like not in a venue. And I understand that. I do. So like I get that
Well,
that's what it's
keep the
for.
frequencies clean at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's just like sub bass and kick, and it just feels bigger live because it fills the room up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But as a sound design elitist, I still hate it. Indeed. All right. I feel that the question has been adequately discussed. Bring on callers for the question. Next question. Let's do this. And wait 8 seconds for them to hear me that I asked that question for them to call me. All right. We got a caller. Hello, Tristan.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. What is your question?
My question is, Skype is feeding back to me some.
Oh dear.
I'll just turn up. Okay.
Do this.
How do you go mixing drum and bass?
I believe did you just ask how do we go about mixing drum and bass?
Yeah, like like side chaining stuff and just general mix down of a drum and bass track.
Okay. All right,
yeah,
cool.
what he just asked, general mixdown, whereas drum bass, as we all know, is subdivided into a million genres. And really, from my standpoint, it's just you just gotta look at your sounds, look at your samples, and depending on what kind of snare, what kind of kick, what kind of synths, what kind of bass you've got, different rules apply. I mean, it's always different, and
Okay.
maybe you just gotta stick to like a handful of guidelines, and then you just take off on your own.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you for
Well,
your
some of
question.
those guidelines
Thanks.
could be like 100 hertz snare, 100 hertz kick, and a 200 hertz snare. A lot of people follow that, and that's usually a good starting point.
It's not a bad guideline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for your call.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thanks.
As far as like I've kind of held back from doing like any kind of mixing or mastering tutorial because it's very not like, as much as we're trying to talk about it in general terms, it's really not a general thing. It's very
Exactly.
much a case by case thing for every track. Like,
It's very hard to teach too, because it is case by case.
but like the super duper general aspect of like how I do things, at least, is like you saw if you were around for the pre-show and you saw me doing the big room track. I kind of joked that I made a sidechain bus. That's kind of what I do. Is that like I will sidechain pretty much everything to the loudest elements, which are usually the drums, obviously. If it's a 4/4 like 128 track, it's usually just a kick. But if it's a drum and bass track, it's the kick and the snare. And I sidechain just about everything: hats, leads, stuff, other basses, everything. Like ambient business, all of that gets sidechained to different levels, like different degrees, and it kind of balances out. And then I just crush the master. That's how I do it.
Welcome to the club, Seamless.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's have more colors. Does that make more room in the mix or something? Okay, well, let me talk about room in the mix for a second. So, this kind of comes back into the idea of people telling me to lay off of my compression for the headroom and for dynamics, and how much of that matters to you basically determines how much you do the last part, which is the crushing in the master. Because you may have noticed that like the popular high level producers kind of do that. That's just, you could talk about your Skrillex, you could talk about your Feed Me, and you can use those two as an example of one being super crushed and one being kind of crushed, but not that crushed. But they're both still somewhat crushed. And the degree to which you crush it, this is all to do with like how much you want your track to have dynamic range, or the direct representation of it, which is the peaks information. Because your track can have dynamic range and still be a sausage. It can still feel like it has dynamic range.
I agree.
Okay, let's have some questions. Let's do Swip Flitch because his name came up before. Hello, Swip Flitch.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good.
Awesome.
I can hear myself.
That you can.
Am I too loud?
No, you're good. What's your question?
All right. This is a question to everyone. What is the most cringe-worthy song you've just ever made?
Oh boy.
Thank you.
Oh God.
Oh fuck.
Can I start?
Yes.
Oh, go for it.
In my case, it should have been the question, which one isn't, so I don't have to list so many.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true.
I have one.
Thanks.
Here, I'll actually load mine up. You guys talk about it while I load up my cringeworthy one.
Probably when I was working on doing the Tristram and Bracken, or whatever his name is, remix of that one song. That was horrible. I couldn't. God, I so fucking bad. Literally, I had about 48 versions of that song saved because every time I was just changing something. Yeah, Flight. Thank you, Skype Patrol. It was Flight. And I wasn't a big fan of the original. Not that it was bad. I just wasn't a fan of it. And I am so glad that never got leaked out to anybody ever because it's just so fucking bad.
Who did you do this track with?
You would ask that, wouldn't you?
Well, I thought you just said that. I just wasn't paying attention.
The track was whenever the whole Ivy thing was going on. So
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
I've got a pretty bad one.
yeah.
I did a remix of Party in the USA like 3 years ago.
oh God.
It was horrible. I just deleted off my SoundCloud like a week ago, and it has like 10,000 plays, which is a lot for me on SoundCloud. And it's all the way down at the bottom. I just like privated it. I'm just like, no one else can hear this song ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
it was
Probably
bad.
yeah, probably that. And the only song that ever got leaked out is years ago, a very very many years ago. I did a partner of mine did a remix of a Taylor Swift love story.
Mm.
Wow.
And it was a dubstep remix. We couldn't it took years to get away from that fucking song. It wasn't bad. It was really soft.
Yeah.
Girls dug it. I mean, definitely.
So that's what always happened with the Miley Cyrus one. Like I was in high school when I did that. So it was like senior year of high school. All these girls on my bus like, oh my God, it's so good. I'm just like, no, it's not. It's not.
That's really funny, actually. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad no one still has that, I don't think.
So
I'm a
this
fan of
track,
Miley Cyrus, actually.
Miley Cyrus, boy. All right, yeah. This track, this is my track Force Multiplier. It was, I guess, my third electro track. Yeah, and this was when I actually first started really doing EDM, like a year and a half ago. This was after Bass Antics and after Impulse Gain, and I really kind of phoned it in for this one. And it just sort of stings my soul. Because the track I made immediately after it was Third Watch, which is my only glitch hop track. And like it's one of my best tracks in my personal opinion. I like it a lot. So like this track is just a giant stain. But like
That
people...
doesn't sound too bad, man.
It doesn't sound. It's fine. Like I let it go because people said they liked it, and also at the time, most of the songs that I was doing were glorified tech demos for my tutorials. So I didn't really feel bad that it was a bad song because it still had okay sounds in it, and that's why I put them out. So, like, and it had an okay intro. Like, it's all pretty and stuff. Whatever. Okay, let's have some new colors. New colors. Let's wait 8 seconds.
Yeah.
I like how this wave candy thing stays, even though it's in the other project. It's kind of cool. All right, we got colors. Whoa. Have this guy come in. Hello, Sam.
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. How are things?
Good.
What is your question?
Sorry, this is a lie because I'm hoping like in Ireland. So, but my question is on actual hardware itself.
Okay. Which is Sam. Wait, is he talking to me?
Sorry.
Ah,
So, what's the minimum amount of equipment you need for a startup studio?
awesome. All right, we will answer your question.
Ooh, I can tell you.
All right, go for it, Shaun.
Audio interface, shitty set of monitors, and a laptop.
A laptop and headphones. That's all. Don't even need an audio interface.
Laptop headphones.
I just find it's
nice
cheaper to
professionals.
buy an interface and monitors than it is a good pair of headphones.
What?
I don't know what monitors you're buying, but
Dude, eBay, man. You can buy shitty little
Yeah.
M audio monitors for like $50 on eBay and then turn around and buy an interface for about the same.
or you could just get like ATH M50s, and the impedance is low enough. You just throw them on your MacBook output, and you're pretty much good.
People keep asking these questions in the chat. Why audio interface? Well, because the latency on your internal card might not be as good.
It's
Second
never
of all, why
going to be as
laptop?
good.
Because you might want to go in a hotel when you're booked somewhere and make a track over there. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Laptop is mobile. You can't take a tower everywhere with you.
Yeah.
Much as I would like to.
Yeah, I produce on a tower. I produce on a Hackintosh, so it's
Unless you're
like-
going to a LAN party,
Yeah,
then you can take your tower.
No, yeah. I've always used laptops. I've used the tower before in my larger studio. I still have a tower in there. I don't never go in there and produce. I always just do it on my laptop because I move around a lot. Like if I'm making music, I might be sitting at my desk doing it. Then I get up and I go to like the couch and do it, or I'll go to the bed and lay in the bed and make music. I mean, I'm literally bedroom producer.
yeah.
Yes. I did the headphone things for a while because if Shaun remembers the old tutorials that are up on Expert Village when I had the stereo system as my monitors, those were good. I also had headphones because that was an apartment I was living in, so I couldn't be loud at all hours of the day. So headphones it was. I still have the same pair somewhere. Sennheiser 280 HD headphones. That were a present for my father.
That video gave me a good 20 minutes of laughter.
Yeah, and I gave everyone else hours after I posted that picture.
Oh yeah.
For example.
It just seemed I had to do that though. I had to do it. It just seemed too perfect not to do it.
Quite. All right. Let's get more calls.
Yeah.
Call up some Skypes, yo. And pray for Sam, apparently.
4, 3, 2.
We got one. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. You guys sound all bit crushed for some reason, so I'll just ask my question and go back to the stream. All right, my question's for Xilent because I heard his song Gone, which was a collab, and it sounded pretty amateur, and then all of a sudden you go listen to Infinity, and out of nowhere he just had that commercial sound. So I was wondering, is he sending it off to a mastering house, or did he do that himself?
All right.
So yeah, Gone was a collab with Prince and Chloe. We did that around 3 years ago. So back then, I really was still learning how to make music. I had these ideas in my head. We all had these ideas in the head, and by all means, you were just trying to make music. And Infinity was a completely different spectrum of ideas in my head because I did it a couple months ago, and different tools. Completely different studio. In time of these, on the spectrum of these 3 years, I managed to learn so many things. You just get better. That's what happens to all of us, I guess.
There's no like overnight like amazing producer. It takes years, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
You
Steven
have to
and I had that
experiment.
discussion today.
Yeah. I
If it
mean,
was that easy, everyone would be doing it well.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not from trying.
Everyone tries, you know.
Yeah, it took me, 9 years to get to where I am. And I mean, but most of that was because I did metal for like 3 or 4 of those years. So I can't entirely say that all of those 9 years were building up to what I do now. Indeed.
Somebody asked earlier in the chat that never got answered was, they asked all of us individually, how long have we been making music? Which seems to be a repeat question every time I've been on here.
Let's see if I can remember this. You've been making music for 18 years, Shaun?
Yeah, close to it, yeah.
Okay. Oh, how long have you
I'm
been
at
doing
7.
it, Xilent?
In my case, I started when I was 8. I did it until I was 9, and then I had a 10-year break until I was 19, during which I was playing in the punk rock band and metal bands and all that stuff on the drum set. And I started producing again when I was 19, I guess. Yeah, 2007 or 8. So yeah, I guess like professionally only about 5, 6 years.
And how about you, Direct?
Damn. About 7. When I started when I was like 12. It's a birthday gift.
Cool.
That's
Sweet.
all.
It's a hell of a fucking birthday gift.
Well,
Yeah.
Career.
Yeah.
And someone asked, what do I think of gent? And I will say that Periphery is the shit. That's what I'll say about that. Let's have more questions. Lots of numbers showing up in the chat. Let's get some callers. And we got callers. Let's have this guy. Hello, Sherveen.
Hi,
How are you?
thanks. You?
I am also thanks. What's your question?
My question is referring to the genres of like dubstep using the harmony sampling.
Could you say that again?
Yeah. My question is it necessary for the dubstep to harmony sampling?
Okay. That's not necessary. It's just one particular method of making sounds that I happen to enjoy. There's many other ways to get there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Oops. Sorry. Sherveen. Let's have more callers. These callers?
Oh my god, I had to mute my microphone. I hope
Right.
none of my neighbors are woken up.
This guy has been calling like 3 or 4 times. Hello.
Hi, hey guys!
Hi.
Oh my god, I'm still laughing from the call before. By the way, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. Well, actually, I have greetings from Argentina. By the way,
Nice.
Oh, greetings from Spain.
I had a question.
Hello!
I had a question on mixing. I mean, I know you made a tutorial on that about parametric EQ2, but you know, I often get discouraged because I can't. You know, it sounds so shitty, but so shitty that I can continue. You know, so I wanted to know if you were planning on making more tutorials on that, and I don't know, some general ideas. Like I would roll off the highs and lows, but I don't, peak. Well, I know. I think did I make myself clear? Sorry, I had a shitty English, but I think you understand me pretty much.
Yeah, I got the gist. I have an answer for you that I will say in a second.
Okay.
Thank you for your call.
No, thank you, Seamless. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that for like why I don't really like to do mixing and mastering tutorials because it's all very case by case. But one thing I will do, and that I haven't done in a while, is like on a lot of the tracks that I have up online now that aren't like being released. I've done making of tutorials for those tracks. Like I've broken down like how I made certain sounds and why I did what I did for those sounds and stuff like that. And I'll do that for songs that I end up releasing soon. Like I'll probably do one for the noisier remix that I did with Shaun. I'll do one for the songs I get to release, and like that I think is a good idea because it has an example of something that's already been done, and then I can sort of show you like why I arrived at certain decisions for that exact example, which won't be an end-all answer to everything because it just really can't be. And I do feel your pain when you make something that sounds shitty, so shitty, because I do that too. Everyone does it. We all make songs that we just cannot tolerate. And I have a whole folder.
Yeah.
I just folders upon folders filled of like projects I've started but haven't finished because God, they sound terrible. And I just like say, just fuck this track and I go make a new one. So
You know what's a really good way to get your mix better? If you try to like, although I mean I don't like agree with copying people and releasing it, but if you copy a song and try to emulate it as close as you can, it kind of gets you to put your mindset the way that the original artist did, and you can kind of figure out why people EQ'd a certain way, or you know, if you try to like emulate a kick or emulate a snare and get it close, then you learn why those things are useful. And obviously, don't release it because then you're copying someone. But you know,
yeah, doing a cover, it's more or less I guess what that can be considered.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean I did more or
it
less
would
the
be
same thing.
considered covered, yeah.
Yeah, like when I started doing EDM, I mean, yeah, actually, even when I did metal, like when I do metal tracks and whatever, I do the same thing. I go listen to reference tracks of mixes that I like, and I try and like get how they got, and then I learn things.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess copying is not the right term. Reverse engineering.
There you
People are
go.
saying that in the comment. Yeah, reverse engineering is the right way to put that.
Zomboy is master at copying, says Voha dubstep.
We're not going to get into that.
Someone was just like, do you like Martin Garrix? Put Isotope on the master. I don't think he realizes that most people just put Isotope on the master.
Actually, a lot of people do that. I know a lot of producers who are just starting. They take Isotope. There's a trick you can do with Isotope. Like you can take a song, let's say, take one of your tracks, and somebody can copy the final mix down of it pretty much.
Yeah, the EQ curve.
Yeah, you can copy it and just literally lay it over your track, and there you go.
That's
if
hilarious.
You don't have Ozone and you have Logic has the match EQ. It's amazing. Like I was doing mastering for someone, and they're like, I want this to sound like, I want this to have like the EQ curve of Matty on. So I just like did the match EQ, and it actually sounded really good. And I was like, this is cheating.
Yeah.
This is just cheating.
Well,
yeah, I still use Isotope Ozone, definitely.
Yeah.
Ever since it started, I've been using it. Personally.
What was that Picasso quote? Good artists copy, great artists steal.
Yeah.
I think that sums up what's happening here. Let's get more calls. More calls. We've only been doing this for half an hour. Who's Sam? Sam is a hero. This guy's name is Patrick. Hello, Patrick.
Yeah, hi. I'm calling from Belgium. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Sweet.
I'm fine, thanks. I had one question, not necessarily about production, but more about the music business. If it's right for you to answer this question.
I'll leave that one up to Shaun. Or Xilent. Or really anyone but me.
In your opinions, is there a need for developing a career of a musician, and what are the contracts to sign and which not?
Okay, well, I'll leave that open to our panelists to deliberate upon.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
I want to make sure I understood his question. Like, what was the basics of it?
I guess he was asking like what is it, like what kind of deals are good to go after and what deals are bad.
Oh, are we talking about record labels or?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
like signing stuff.
For most producers, I mean, just about everybody actually, labels, it's a 50-50 deal. That's about as good as it's going to get when you're starting out, and that's if you get lucky. A lot of these little shitty indie labels that I call them pyramid labels. They just take your track and they give you a contract that says if you don't sell a certain amount of money, then you don't get any money. But they still keep money. So if you don't sell $50 worth of music, then they keep all the money essentially, and you never make anything. And those labels are bad. I would never influence anybody to sign with a label like that. Those are the labels that literally, like, you see them on Facebook and they're releasing fucking 3 people a day. Like, you don't want to sign with those kinds of labels. The best contract you can be in, obviously, is any contract where you're getting more out of it than the label is. And that's that's my opinion on it. And as for contracts, never go exclusive unless it's a really good fucking deal.
What? What am I hearing? Okay, that was an ad that popped up in the stream, even though I had the stream muted.
That I keep refreshing every once in a while. Can I interject on this whole label thing because I got screwed over a couple times?
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah. Make sure this is the most important thing, I think. Make sure you get a contract before sending a master.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, this is like, it seems simple, but I had a track, I did a remix, and I sent it out to the label as an MP3, and they're like, okay, we're gonna let you know on the release or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And so like 3 months passed and nothing happened. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess this is never gonna happen. 2 more later months, so 5 months later, I get a message, oh, we released it. I'm like, what the fuck? I never got a contract, and they released the MP3 on Beatport.
Oh,
Great.
And I'm just like, this is so stupid. And so now I've never gotten paid for it, all that stuff. So never do that. Never sign exclusive. Don't ever give more than 50%. That's pretty much the basics of it.
Yeah. And the only reason why you would go exclusive is a really good deal.
Yeah. I think Hospital's exclusive, but it's not good. You're missing something there.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to a label, if somebody's wanting you to sign exclusive, they better be offering promo for you. And when I say promo, like
order and everything.
Yeah, you need a good promotional, marketing plan would be literally if a label's willing to spend $1,500 in your promo before it releases, that's good. Because $1,500 doesn't buy that much in promo ads anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Nope. So always look for the better deal, but if you can't find the better deal, then just hold on to your music or try to release it independent.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can do a lot. You can do a lot with YouTube and Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Most assuredly. Yeah. Okay. Let's do more callers. I feel like that was answered adequately. Let's get calls. Someone was someone in the chat asked, "What's a good level to have your sub peaking at?" And there might be like engineering related answers to that question, but like good general practices. But I actually tend not to care because I actually explained this in the video, one of the FL basics, because of how FL runs audio in the mixer, because it runs all the audio at 32-bit float, which for all intents and purposes basically means that it's never going to clip. Never going to clip, which means that even if I have every single mixer insert peaking at 0 dB, going into the master, it's obviously going to sum up to plus 120 dB. But if I am compressing that or I turn it down, it's not going to be destructive. You're not going to lose any of your information that's going above 0 dB. So I don't really have to worry about that very often. But that doesn't necessarily mean that A, that's a good idea, or B, that you will never have to worry about that, like for other DAWs and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of big DAWs like Pro Tools and Logic and stuff like that. Not big DAWs; they're all popular, but they have an extra 6 decibels instead of headroom at the top. I mean, Pro Tools is a 64-bit mix engine, but they'll leave you the extra 6 decibels where it says it's clipping. It's actually not clipping. And they'll just lower everything by 6 decibels.
Yeah, same in Cubase as well.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't clip though, like you'll still hear it clipping most of the time, and this is because
It's a soft clipper, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a soft
either that in like Ableton or something, or your device, your actual interface probably isn't 32-bit. It's probably 24-bit or 16-bit, which means that if it receives audio that's going above 0 dB, it will distort on your hearing it, even though digitally nothing's actually happening to the audio. Just so you know.
Yeah.
That's why I like to be very versatile with DAWs. That's why I use Cubase to master in. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing Ableton and Logic right now. I just go out to Ableton when there's something I can't do in Logic easily.
I just try to mix it up. Reason is really good to me for drums and only drums. I mean,
somebody made a FB page for Pray for Sam.
Oh my gosh.
Cubase here for production and Ableton for mixing, studio mixes, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
See, that's like the
Always
complete
has been,
opposite
yeah.
for me. I'm not too fond of the low ends that I get out of a final from Ableton.
Uh-huh.
But that's just my personal preference, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I'm pretty much afraid to use anything that's not FL Studio. I fear for my life. All right, let's have some
Similar,
actual calls.
yeah.
Let's do calls. 3, 2, 1. Too early.
Too early.
Too early. All right, now we got calls. Let's get this guy. Hello, Danny.
What?
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
What?
I know, man. Oh my god. Okay, where's Direct at?
I'm right here.
Oh my god.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. One question I really want to know is how'd you make that sub bass and your recent song? The one you released on November 9th.
November 9th. Oh, the sub bass, that's just all that is it's just a actually there's no like actual just sub in that. It's just a saw waves, detuned, low pass, and distortion. That's all it is.
That's
Nothing
all it
special
is.
whatsoever.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's all
But
I
thank
wanted to know. All right,
Awesome.
thanks, guys.
Thank you for your call.
You guys are amazing. Love you, Seamless. Love
Thank you.
Guys.
Aw, I love you too.
Best fucking caller of the evening.
Yeah, that guy was pumped.
Oh my god.
What?
Someone
That's
asked
awesome.
if I can show you how to make a good sounding lead, and the answer to that question is no. No, I can't. I don't do that.
Bullshit.
I'm serious. All my leads are presets. I made like one okay lead, and I made a tutorial about how to use it. It's called How to Lead.
Ha!
I'm not even joking. That's what it's called. It's on my channel.
I have way too many leads, and that one synth that's supposed to be called Synth 1.
Mm-hmm. There
I'm
is
not
actually
gonna,
a synth
I'm not gonna
one,
fucking
you know.
say it. I'm not
Silence
gonna
is
say
the
it.
right saying, dude.
There is
I'm not
already
gonna say it.
actually a synth 1. You know that, right?
Yeah, but this was like the copycat of it, but better, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. Cool. Let's calls Kick-Assu. All right, this guy. He's still on. Hello, Jason. Jason.
Hello.
Hi.
Wait, oh my god, wait. Oh my goodness, holy hell. Oh, that's insane. Okay, you actually answered. Oh god, sorry. Okay.
Apologize for nothing.
Question is for all of you at the same time. This is a really odd question. It's just been on my mind. Like people like Eptic and sorts, like say the characters that they use. Like recently, a guy called Mustai changed his alias into a character. Like, would you guys ever make a storyline kind of music thing? Like, would you build a story around like your music, or do you prefer to just have an individual idea for each track, or could you see yourself making a character or some form of thing like that?
Kind of like Feed Me or something.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I completely like forgot Feed Me as an artist. Like, Oh wait, I'm trying. There's one last thing that I needed to say, and it's really important. Also, direct. Everyone is Tristan.
Everyone is Tristan. I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your call.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. So yes, concepts as opposed to individual tracks.
Yeah, I don't think I ever would, because when I sit down, there's no way, because literally every track I do is just I'm winging it. Like I never sit down with a general idea. So
whenever I just sit down to collab with someone, we usually come up with the idea first. We come up with like a storyline. I don't really usually do that by myself, but one of the things about coming up with a character, that's just your branding. If you want to brand yourself like that, like Dead Mouse or Feed Me, and have almost a character or just a moniker that you can come off of, do it. I mean, that's an amazing branding thing. You have t-shirt ideas, you have everything else done for you, basically.
Yeah, image is definitely a good thing. I mean, the sooner you start, the better, I'm guessing, because you're like, if you're in the middle of your career and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm gonna wear this mask. All of a sudden, wait, you've never worn it. Why are you doing it? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, that does happen. It's funny because I'm a big fan of like Bloody Beetroots. And when they first started, they didn't have masks. And then part of the way through, they started having masks. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is kind of weird.
It works though. I mean, like I now know them for those masks.
Yeah, it was before the popularity really ensued on them, I suppose. So it could be different. But it kind of goes back to what he's saying, though. It's better to start soon than to be into your career and be kind of like full throttle into it, and then fucking just start wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As for my stuff, I probably would never do that. But in my metal band, we were pretty big on like concept albums. Like the whole albums were stories. They had like a point, a beginning, and an end, and like an actual plot. And this is mainly because of my vocalist. Like he wanted to have like a kind of identity to his like vocalness kind of deal. Like our first album was about bugs and just how metal they were. Because I don't know if you've ever read a cracked article ever in your life, but they're pretty good evidence to that. And then the second album was a chronology of a guy getting infected and dying of malaria. Like,
damn,
biologically, the timetable of what malaria does to a person. Like, that's what the songs were about. And
that's just fucked up.
It is extremely fucked up, and which is also another way of saying it's extremely metal, because it was. And
which is what people stopped saying recently.
Yeah. I can see where that could go, though. You could be at shows and like spitting out some kind of weird liquid and saying it's malaria.
See, that's what Guar does, and they've done a pretty good job. That kind of stuff.
Now that would be that's so swag. Some stuff like that.
Fucking that is like there's two terms that I can't stand, and it's YOLO and swag.
Don't get me started, dude.
I say them all the time as jokes and piss off everyone.
Yeah, it's just trolling all over the place. Like 10% of the people that actually say that, they actually mean that, and those are the people that are not meant to be breeding,
Yeah.
Yes, but they do because they have so much swag.
Unfortunately, that's because they have so much swag. Yeah.
They attract other people with swag, and it creates little swag babies.
Yeah, swagginess is growing.
Let's have some calls, ladies and gentlemen. And YOLO for Sam. Sam has become a lot more popular as a result of being lost. This person's name
he's gonna overpopulate Bob right now. Overpopularity Bob, like the.
Hello, Adele. Adele.
Yeah.
Adele.
Bob is building an army on YouTube and all that.
Oh, that fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sam is, almost about to get there.
Oh, yeah, God.
Just as famous.
Bob. Is there a person here?
What? Where? We're all here, bro. Where'd you go?
I have a call. I just picked up a call, and the guy's not like... Okay, well, so much for this guy. Let's do this person whose name I can't pronounce. Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
so much for this guy. Let's do...
Oh.
Hello? Let's do...
I can hear myself.
Yeah, mute your stream.
Oh.
Mute y'all streams.
You hear myself? Yeah,
Wow.
mute your stream. That, can you hear me?
Yes.
6 seconds delay.
All right. I had a question about the for Xilent.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you could describe how you make the super saw from "Choose Me Too" or "Choose Me" that song. Because I mean, it sounds really crazy. It's like one of the best super saws I've ever heard.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 2 years ago. So back then, it was still the times when I was rewiring stuff from FL, and I think at the time I used Toxic Biohazard to do it. Do you know one of that Sims?
Sweet.
Yeah. It was. I had to EQ it a little bit, and I layered it with Xilent. I'm pretty sure. And that was my first track that actually included like a 7th chord. That's what actually gave it such an effect, I think. And pushing up the loudness on the Cubase compressor did the trick as well. And it's just as long as you build like that, exactly. That's Seamless is already showing Toxic Biohazard. That's the one I used to make it. I'm not sure what was the actual sound I used to because I changed it a little bit.
I know there's one in here that's pretty good, like by itself, because I used it in Bass Antics.
Yeah, Nexus 2 has plenty of those super saws that are just like, you just hear it and you're just like, yes, nothing to change about it unless just like cut a little bit of the low out and that's it.
Yeah. It's probably under pads.
For super
It could be
saw?
in the leads, LDs,
Or
check
the
it out.
leads.
Leads, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab Toxic Biohazard because it's for Mac too.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits of it. It's of Max plugins in general, because the guy that coded this, his name is Max, M-A-X-X. And his plugins are pretty easy to spot because they get this plugin library thing. And they're all freaking monos.
Yeah, so that was the instrument I used to start all the Super Song Fiesta. I now use Nexus 2 for most of them, and I'll layer it with a couple of pads that I've got in audio that I've already exported from like all Omnisphere stuff years ago, and I just layer all that stuff. And taking care of the phasing, of course, because these tend to really just cancel each other out. Yeah. And especially when you got very similar sounds playing at the same time.
So since you mentioned, since you mentioned 7 chords, what kind of a chord would that be, like notes wise? If I were to just do one.
Yeah, for example, C, E, G, and you've got do, which would be the, I'm guessing, A sharp, which is exactly.
Aha. So it's a major triad with a minor 7.
Sorry, yeah, that's minor 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you mean a major third though?
I mean, yeah, this is the exact one I used in choosing. So
that.
Yep. Oh, that was a minor. That is. Yep.
Yeah, that's a minor.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I haven't messed around with actually making 7 chords on things.
Yeah.
It's very jazzy.
When you add reverb.
That's all I use these days.
Perfect.
That's cool though. I'll have to.
Sometimes I add ninths to mine.
Oh, now we've got people arguing about chat.
That'd be a 9th. I think it's a 10, which is just a 3. A 9 also is just a 2 for those who are not all up on the theory thing. When we keep saying
so
like
you can put
one,
the 9th down in 2.
Yeah, just for a sort of super short tutorial on scale degrees. When we keep saying things like the 1, the 3, the 5, those are called scale degrees. So if you ever wanted to learn how to,
you gotta specify.
Like those sorts of things, just Google scale degrees and you'll find lots of like sort of ways to talk about that. And of course, Varian also has made plenty of basic theory tutorials on his channel, Varian Official. God.
On his chariot.
Yeah, they're actually really good. theory tutorials. I
Yeah.
would highly recommend checking them out.
But scale degrees are basically like, for example, the C major scale. C would be your 1, D is 2. You know, climb up the scale, and then the order of those notes are the scale degrees. Minus, of course, the 8th one being just the 1 on the other. However, we're saying like the 9 and the 10 and whatever is basically continuing to go up the scale. So like a 9 is actually just a 2 on octave up.
Yeah, that's the number of them, yeah.
That sort of thing. And then you get into things like major or minor, because like we were doing this, because if I did just the major 7 chord, it'd be this. But a minor 7 chord, kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
sadder version.
yeah. And then in inversions, you get all that kind of good stuff. Oh man, because a 7 chord has four notes in it, you could have a third inversion, which is good. So that was your brief.
Are the key.
Depending what kind of chord progression you've got going on. I mean, you don't want to put it like a major chord instead of like a really, sad song.
Right. Oh man.
Right. Haven't we got like 5 minutes left?
Do you? What?
Haven't we got 5 minutes left? Because you said.
We got about half an hour. We could do 7:30.
Oh, sweet. I'll wake it.
Indeed. All right, so let's DJ Efixa Zelda step is probably what that guy tried to say. Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's do more calls. Let's have some calls. Bald for Sam. I gotta find that Facebook page that they made about Sam. We're like collecting them.
Scroll up in the chat.
Seppuku for Sam.
All right, here George is calling. Let's have George. Hello, George.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Can't complain. Hi guys, Shaun and Direct. Just a bit of a broad question, and I know it's kind of out there, but I'm struggling at the moment with my drops. Aren't everyone? Basically, great melody. Drums are good. Like I've been producing for years and years and years, so I know when the drums are good and all of that. I get to the drop, like the build and all of that's fine as well, and the drop it's just crap. Like it seems extremely light. The individual sounds are really good. I guess the problem I'm having is potentially the actual bass riffs themselves. How do you guys deal with that? How do you go from a drop to from a build to building a big drop? Because that's the thing I'm really struggling with at the moment.
Okay. To be honest with you, in my case, it would be, I mean, I would really have to listen to the track to know what to fix about it. But I'm guessing if you basically, a good way of making a drop is keeping it very simple. At least in my case, that's what my style is. Make it a pause that would actually speak more than an actual sound. Like if you keep like a short pause right before the drop, that will make the drop way more punchy. Some people tend to do as well. The build up and the intro, keep it at like -2 decibels, and then the drop, keep it at 0, so that the drop seems like appears even more punchy, even if it actually
that's
it's the same level.
Very good point. Silence. That was what I was going to say. Is like silence in a way. When I build into a drop, I usually drop the track's volume as the build-up goes more toward that ending point, what I call the roll over the cliff. And right at the end of the cliff, like I'll drop it down like another -3 dB and then kick it right back up at the drop. And it gives you that really vulgar punch. It just like kicks the shit out of you. And that's good. Like, I mean, there's techniques though. Everybody has a different technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really depends on the song you're making, because we would have to hear the build-up and the intro you've already done to be able to tell you some tips to what to do next. It would be good to if the drop actually complemented the intro and the build-up in some way. I've heard a couple of times, and you've definitely heard some people's drop being in a completely different key. For example, like 3 semitones lower than the actual intro and the build-up was. For example, there was this Alvin Risk remix of Eyes by Cascade.
Yeah.
The drop was like the intro and the build-up were on, I'm not sure what key it was but I'm pretty sure the drop was in a completely different key, and it was literally like 3 semitones lower completely, and it changed the idea of the track completely. All of a sudden, it's an evil track, you know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that might be a technique as well.
There's certain places you can do that, I think, and a lot of people that send me, like once again, people that send me stuff, I do listen to it as much as people think I don't. But if you have a build up, and even your intro build up everything, and when you go into a drop, there's certain applications where that being in a different key can work depending on what you want to do with the track.
Exactly.
But a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of these new producers don't understand that. Say they have their build up and their intros in like A minor, but then the drop just goes to like a G. It doesn't sound right. It's just because it's a filthy low bass doesn't mean it's going to sound right.
Exactly. It's not as low as the bass goes. You just need to complement the intro with a complementary key.
Yeah, there is such a thing as harmonic modulation, where like you move up to a key that's related to your first key. Like, there's a term
That's actually
for
a
it.
jazz technique.
Yeah.
You play 2 keys in one song at the same time. You can do that, and those are harmonically like they work together. And if you find those keys that work together, you can do that.
Hey, DJs do
sort,
that.
Sort of like that's true, harmonic mixing. But you could also go with like a lot of dominant or secondary dominant chords. Every chord has a secondary dominant, and if you figure out which ones you like, you can basically have your songs cadenced into, from a secondary dominant to something different, and then have it actually work together. If you wanted to. Google that.
For example, if you're build up an intro, for example, we're in G minor, you could totally do the drop in C minor, and it wouldn't have to, like the bass, like there's also talk about, the actual resonance of the bass when it comes to different keys. For a long time, lots of drum bass producers were just sticking to F minor all the time, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yes.
And because it's just a bass key, literally, and I've noticed that it really does make a difference, especially when you go to an actual recording studio and you can tell that the bass just doesn't resonate as much as it would on a bit of higher notes. Like you notice that when you play your track on a studio with a setup that actually has monitors and a sub underneath it, you can tell that the higher a key of your certain track is, the more likely the sub to be heard. Then again, you have to think that a sub might be louder on a bigger sound system, which is where you actually essentially want to be in big festivals and stuff. So it's good to have a studio anyway to test all this stuff, but I think key and the resonance of the sub bass really makes a difference, not just the key.
Yeah, definitely. You have to pick the key with the good sub bass frequencies.
Yeah.
So you'd say paying more attention, because I am actually a sound designer. I do sound design for factory banks for a lot of developers and stuff. So sound design's not my issue. You reckon theory is going to come into that to make it actually have the music actually sound bigger rather than the sounds themselves?
To be honest, from what we see right now with trap and big room house basically taking over, I think the theory of music just gets less and less important in which is very sad.
It is sad.
I'm not sure what the other guys think.
Yeah, but there's some trap music that has good melody, but it's always the more chill stuff.
Or it'll be like a lead up to the quote unquote drop that removes all of it.
Do 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 do.
Squeaky lasers.
Like, back to your original question about making stuff fit with the drop, though. Like, that tends not to be an issue I run into often, because I almost universally start a track by making the drop. Like,
this is
begin
true.
with that.
Same.
And then I have the kinds of problems that you're having, but with the intro. Like, I suck at making something that's not a drop. Like, after I've made the drop, that's my issue. And we were also talking about techniques to lead into the drop with the intro, like turning it down and stuff like that. And another trick I got from BT, which I'm pretty sure he just got from looking at stuff, was to high pass your master EQ right up until the last second in the drop before the drop hits, and then bring it back. So you're basically turning down the bass in the intro until the drop hits, and then the bass seems bigger and more full.
I'm thinking that might
good technique.
like you said, you start with a drop. That might be the way to go for me, because I'm not having so much problem kind of whittling down initial ideas, and I've kind of touched on doing that, starting with the drop and then reducing all the bits down for intros and stuff like that. I think I may actually start focusing on that a little bit and see if that makes a difference.
I've made a couple tracks where I actually started with an intro, but when I did do that, I still had the problem because it's like whatever part I start with, I'll have the problems doing the other part because it's weird because like if you think of like an intro, I consider the intro to basically be the home for all the thematic elements in the track, like all the progression, the melody, and like basically the not drop elements of the track. That's where they all are, and then the rest of the track is all about mixing that in with the drop elements. And so if I make one, then I have to make the other fit that one. And it's easier to make something that doesn't have to fit anything than it is to make something that has to fit something. So it's like the two very different elements being the thematic elements and the not melodic sort of droppy elements. They're just different worlds, which makes, I think, the genre of things that have drops, that much more interesting.
A lot of people are different. I start with the intros.
Yeah. Each time?
Yeah, every time. I've never started working on a track from drop.
You start at the beginning.
Yeah, and I fucking hate making intros.
Then maybe it's just a workflow issue. Then maybe you just need to kind of like sit back and figure out if starting at the drop is better, starting at the intro, or
yeah, man. It really depends on what kind of idea you've got. Whether you've got a really like a rough, like a really hard-hitting drop in your head, and you don't want to build an intro before. You just immediately do it so that you don't forget. And then you get situations where you have an awesome melody pattern that spreads across 16 bars, and you want to keep it in your mind, so you just put it and you just like start up 3 different instruments. You make chords and you save it up, and that becomes the intro. You won't build like a drop right after it. You just want to start. Yeah, it really depends, man. Like I'm guessing this doesn't need to have like a specific rule. And if, like, ultimately won't lead to your track being any better or worse if you start with the intro or start with the drop.
Yeah, it really, like I said, it's all about workflow and what's better for you. I spend more time on drops than what than what Seamless does. Like when Seamless works on a track, he does drops fairly quick and gets the basic idea that he has going out. As to where when I do drops, it's fucking just. It's stupid. Like I spend way too much time changing basses, EQing things, effects here and there. But an intro I can knock out fairly fast. And the hardest part of a track to me is literally doing a drop, the second drop. So the first drop is usually pretty, you can kind of slide into it. But the second drop, you want it to be different. You want it to have more dynamics, and that's where I run into my problems at.
Yeah, you definitely. Although you got to keep in mind that in the second drop, you've already got the first one done, so you just copy pasted that stuff. And then you just alter different things. You just alter the beat, alter the kick, alter the
that's
different
what I
glitches.
do.
That's it. It's in my case, at least.
I do that only at like a sort of a micro level where I make the first measure of a drop, and then I copy that, and then I have a half of a phrase, and then I copy that, and now I have a whole phrase, and then I put in a fill, and then I copy that. Now I have a half of a drop, and then I make a bigger fill, and now I have half of a drop. Then I copy that, and now I have a whole drop. Like that's that.
I mean, because that's actually how I write my melodies these days too. It's like this the first time it goes through the first like loop, it's just like that static thing, and then you copy it over and you change like one element, and then you copy those 2 over and then change the last one or something like that. That's how I do my drums a lot too.
So drums a lot.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your call, George.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to answer my question.
Awesome.
No problem, man.
Thank you for your call.
Take care, bro.
All right.
George, ladies and gentlemen, one of the mods of the chat. All right, let's have more calls. We've got about 20 minutes left on the show. Someone asks if I listen to previews of other people's songs, and the answer is yes. Yes. Getting calls. Hello, Matt. Matt Neal.
Hello.
Mute the stream.
Yeah, I did. It's all
Good job. What is y'all in question?
Oh,
Who?
sorry, I got.
Was that me?
Oh, that's me. My question is Xilent on the chat right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, how in a lot of your songs you get that kind of really full sounding chord bass combo in some of your drops. It sounds like I just really like how that sounds, and I'm wondering like what kind of process you go around to get that sound. I mean, how are you layering synths on top of subs, or like what are you doing? What are you doing with that?
Yeah. The first thing, I mean, it also depends on the track. But for example, if we talk about Ellie Goulding remix for Figure Eight, for instance, it's a layer of it. I mean, it's like a mix of at least 6, 7 different synths, each one playing in a different timbre, which means I've got about 5, maybe 4 Nexus 2 patches loaded up, each one of them playing just one note. The second note is being played by a different patch. On top of that, you've got it's a thing called it's from the Isotope 5 package. It's the imager, which I usually use to make it wider because lots of the stuff that's in there is just very mono. I just want to make it all over the place. So then you take care of the phase cancellation. Then you take care of the EQ of the whole thing. Usually you might lack some high end, which is where you use white noise on top of it. You just load up massive, add just the bright noise patch on top of it, and have it going along with the whole thing all together. Underneath, when it's like a full-on synth like that, when it's like a full chord, I wouldn't put a huge Reese underneath. I would just basically the simplest square wave would go underneath it along with a sub, because the Reese would just be interjecting with all the chords and all that stuff. Yeah, to top it off, lots of sidechaining, I guess.
Lots of sidechaining.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Awesome. Thank you for your call, Matt Neal.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care, Matt.
What was that character in Scott Pilgrim? Young Neil? Now he was just Neil. Indeed. Let's have more calls. Swag for Sam. Sam is just blowing up.
Jesus.
Infrared. Hello, Infrared.
Oh wow! I did not expect to get on here. Hi.
Welcome to the screen.
Me neither, actually.
Hi. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. I'm doing good, thanks. I have 2 short questions, or can I only use one?
You can do both. Go for it.
All right, thanks. My first one is Direct and Xilent here? I know that Xilent's here, but is Direct there?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. Sweet.
We're both here.
Okay. All right, I have a question for you two, and maybe Seamless, but I don't think he does remixes very much. On bootleg remixes, what can you do to make it still stay same to the original, but also add a whole bunch of new elements to make it your own remix instead of just like a copy? Or, how do you find a good middle?
Like a middle ground between it sounding either too close to the original or too far from it, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, it really depends on the remix. It's like I've done plenty of remixes in my life. It's just I'm releasing the next one actually in like maybe a month or 2. And in this case, for example, it's a track for a new Red Bull band called Five Knives, and they've just done a really hard-hitting electro track with female vocal that's melodic, but it has these like screaming vibes as well. Like literally, she just like raps with like a really squeaky voice. And in that kind of case, you don't want to make it a very melodic thing because the atmosphere of that song is very ballsy. It's not really anything that you would want to sound like super melodic and like atmospheric or very emotional. So first of all, you think about the actual atmosphere of the track and how would you be how should you interpret it? Should you make it more ballsy or less ballsy, or should you keep the the more emotional, less emotional? Or should you keep your style to it, add more glitches? and then basically what you do is just listen. If you're talking only about bootlegs, that's from the very beginning. That's very difficult because if you want to, like, for example, if there's a vocal that's leading the hook line on the track, and you want to just use that, you got to find a part in that track that actually, you know, if it's a bootleg, you don't have the stems, so you got to find a part of the track to, you know, which is when just the vocal is playing. So to use that, that's already a challenge. But I've never done a single bootleg, and so I always get sent these stems, and they're always a pleasure to work with. So as soon as you hear those stems alone, you should be able to get lots of inspiration. I think that should do it.
I think that if you don't want to venture too far from the original song, say you're doing a remix in the same genre, you could take the lead line, say it has a big lead in the original song, you could take it and like actually use that same lead, just change the sound or change it to something you would do, if you don't want to venture too far. And when it comes to bootlegs, a lot of times, I mean, you can find acapellas online. A lot of times studio acapellas get released, so it's not that big a deal. But
true.
Just take a couple elements from the original track and then use that, and then produce it as if you were going to produce the track, just only being handed those elements. Don't try to, like, if you think that you can't do anything different to the track, just take the vocal and say, well, I just got handed this vocal, let me try to produce it my own way. If it's too far off, then take a couple elements, you know. That's all. That's the only thing I could say. Seamless?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% clear on what a bootleg even is.
It's just like taking the actual track itself and using it to remix it without having stems.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've done that once. Just once. I took Noisy's remix of Scary Monsters and Ice Sprites and just cut it up and rearranged it. That's all I did. It was cool. So in terms of elements of the original song, it's kind of only the original song, so I don't really have that problem.
I don't do bootlegs. I recreate a song as best I can, and then I remix that.
I see.
It's not a bad idea.
Awesome. Thanks for your call.
All right, thanks.
Cool.
Take care, man.
All right, we got about 15 minutes left. Let's see if we can get like 2 or 3 calls. Let's get some calls. Alberton Live lives strong. Okay, lots of calls. Let's get whoa. Every time I try to click on someone, a new one shows up. Hello, Jasper.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, listen, do you 420 blaze it, faggots?
Well, do you, ladies and gentlemen? This is the question of the evening right now.
This is the question.
This is the
If
question.
you're producing a track and you want that filthy, dirty, disgusting bass line where you just want to, just rub it all in your face, like, do you like to be blazed to make that shit, or do you like to be sober?
Oh,
There's the
mate, I
question
always
for
rub it
evening.
in my face so hard.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, fantastic.
All right.
Well, 420 blaze it, faggots, Asper Music, hit me up, niggas, bitch, fuck, tits.
Wow.
It's a good thing that we're not on broadcast television.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, to answer that question, I pretty much only produce sober.
I've never done it drunk either.
Fucking high 24 hours a day, so.
Yeah, no drugs for me.
Kids, I live in California, and it's completely fucking legal here for me to do it, so.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do a better job if I were high. I honestly feel like, because like a lot of the stuff I do is fucking complicated. I don't know how well the processy would be aided by inebriation.
To be honest, I tried that once, and it's just all a mess.
Oh yeah.
I've only ever experimented like twice, and it's pointless for me, at least for me, because it's like I sit down and I have to think consciously about everything I'm doing and all the decisions I'm making, and if I'm not in a clear state of mind, I'm missing something.
Exactly. I'm just like that, right? Exactly. I've tried doing it once on weed, and it was just horrible. Since then, I just get paranoid. I never smoked weed for like at least a year or two. I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I probably think what would end up happening is that I might like what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and then the next day I'll come find it and find out it's actually stupid.
That's exactly how it goes.
Well, that's me when I'm drunk, definitely.
I mean, that
And then
happens
you don't know
anyway.
what the hell's going on in your project file. You're like, why did I do this?
Like what?
Like,
I didn't label. I mean, I don't label anything anyway. My projects are legendarily a messy thing, but like Shaun can attest to this. But like if I stay awake for too long and I'm producing something, that's kind of what it's like. Like if I haven't been sleeping for like 30 hours and then I do something, I'm like, this is awesome. And that's unfortunately that's usually when I get in the mood to like post a preview of it or something, and then I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and I'll see that I'm just like shit.
Lack of sleep affects your brain the same way as being drunk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to tell you, I barely sleep. So
yeah, but you sleep
I do
some.
Yeah, you're like 2 hours a day.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. You know.
I suppose.
All right, let's get more calls before we start.
Tonight.
Yeah, let's get one more in.
Before we start getting into the conversation about being high.
Well, I think everyone needs that conversation in their lives. All right.
Drugs is bad. Drugs is bad.
Weed is not a drug.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question for all of you, and then for Xilent because I'm a really big fan of his. What's your favorite track that you've produced? Not necessarily your best or the one that everyone else likes. You know, just your favorite. And Xilent, are you there?
I'm here.
No. Hi. Okay, I'm a really big fan of yours. How long did it take for you to make Pixel Journey? And are you coming back to the U.S.? Are you coming back to the U.S. anytime soon? Because I've been waiting like 5 years to see you live, but every time you've come, I couldn't make it.
Yeah, basically you've just answered your own question. Because the track I really liked most is Pixel Journey, and because it represents like the happiest times of my life. And I made that track around, it was a year ago, I'm guessing now. Yeah, and then I've just never released it for a long time. And then I figured since we do the Boss Wave remix EP, I'm just going to put it there. And the reason I liked it the most is because I made it while I moved to Spain with my girlfriend. And I just felt like I'm starting a completely new life. So it really, like whenever I listen to that track right now, it just makes me feel the happiest. So what was the second question about Pixel Journey?
I forgot.
When are you coming to the U.S.? Was the next question.
Oh, sorry.
Back to the U.S. anytime soon.
Coming to the U.S. I'm apparently playing in Utah next month. Sorry, in 2 months. I'm just not sure where else exactly. I know I'm playing in Australia in January at the beginning of the month. And then there's going to be a tour. I mean, it really depends on Shaun. He's actually on the line as well, so you can ask him about the tour. I mean, it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be a big tour in U.S., wasn't it?
Yeah, it was U.S. and the U.K. and South America and Canada and all this other random places.
But yeah, we were.
It won't. That won't be happening anyways until late 2014. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll definitely hop into U.S. for a couple, like definitely once every 2 or 3 months next year. So you shouldn't worry. And thank you for your call as well. Thank you so much.
Okay. Think about Las Vegas. Come to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, Las
please.
Vegas, definitely. That would be awesome if I actually managed to play in EDC Las
I was about to
Vegas.
say, yeah.
Yeah, I was
played the
gonna
Puerto
say
Rico.
you should come to EDC.
Yeah,
gonna be great.
play Nocturnal Las Vegas. EDC Las Vegas could be maybe the next one. Hopefully, I'll just have to talk to my management and all that.
Okay. Thanks, Silent.
Hardcore.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for your call.
Bye.
So Shaun, what's your favorite track that you've produced?
I've won the stuff I've done with the unreleased stuff that comes out next year that I did with Clark.
Oh, that stuff.
It's all that weirdness, crazy, cool stuff that nobody's heard.
And what about you, Direct?
Probably the song I did with Mr. Fiji Ouija, Hysteria. I like that one a lot. And then there's another one I made by accident. I made the melody by accident, which I really like, called Essence.
Essence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice. My favorite track is a track that doesn't have a name yet. Right now it's called 140-917. And it's loading.
Oh.
And if it ever stops loading, I'll play the second drop because it's pretty much my favorite thing I've ever done in my life.
147.19. I think you sent me the MP3 of that.
I think I probably did. I played it. I've also played it once on the stream in the past, like 2 or 3 streams ago. It's called 149.17 because it's a 140 track that I started on September 17th.
I thought it was your 917th 140 track, and I was gonna be like, dude.
No, because I mean, you can't see the project list here, but I guess you can on the stream. You can see I have one. It's like 120, 1031, 128, 107. All those are basically time or tempos and dates.
That's smart. I just smash the keyboard until something interesting comes out.
Yeah, it's used to be what I do.
The song.
Yeah. See, what I had 2 filing systems in the past. One was that I just name it whatever, and then the other one was I called it unfinished until I named it something. But because I would make new tracks and not finish them, I would have unfinished 2, and then unfinished 3. And then I got up to about unfinished 600 something before I started calling things by names.
Oh my god.
Anyway, this is the twack. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because everything I do is louder than it should be. Yeah. Okay, I have a little bit of a build up into second drop and then the B drop and then that'll be it. That'll be good. Yeah. It has this nice little piano outro.
Yeah, that was the one you sent me.
Yeah. That's gonna be good when that comes out.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
That's my favorite track. Okay, what time is it? 7:27.
Sweet, man. Sounds pretty crazy.
Thank you very much. All right, no more calls, but do you guys have any last words to give to our audience?
Let's have another call.
Another call? All right. Our last call. Our last words will be given
Someone
to the next
waiting out
caller.
there, just like, oh.
Let's do more calls. We can do more calls. I don't have anywhere to be. Wait, 8 seconds is where I need to be. There we go. We got calls. Let's do this guy because his name is Steven. Hello, Steven.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Nice.
I would like to know, am I asking a question, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would like to know how people like say Noise Storm makes the kind of voice synthesizing kind of thing, like what, not necessarily the fastest way, but I guess the best quality to kind of learn, and where would I start?
I'm assuming that's vocoding. I'm going to go ahead and guess that.
All right, that works.
I know I have listened to Noise Storm tracks, but I can't quite place precisely the sound you're talking about.
Can you tell me exactly a song and I'll listen to it myself real quick?
Kind of like, because I'm not going to completely copy them, but I mean something where I would like start to make voice kind of melodious voice, if that's what I want to say. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? Like,
I kind of know what you're saying.
Synthesizing.
I know Noise Storm. I've seen from his vines. He uses a lot of Ableton vocoder on stuff, and he just uses it. He routes the modulation right back into the sound for that. But if you want like vocally type sounds, you could do that or formant filtering or both. But
Okay.
yeah, other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know where to start. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, look up like if you're talking about specifically bass sounds, I've got like 600 tutorials on the subject.
I
About
do know that, yeah.
my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/SeamlessR.
Well, I watched almost all your videos. Yeah, well, except the vocoder I've been starting to watch. I thought that's where I would start. Just
Yeah.
thought if I was doing it right or not.
No, that's more or less what's up. There's
All right.
there's you get to like more advanced stuff like kill the noise business, and then you start to run into the world of hardware like talk boxes and vocoders and things, which I
Oh,
don't
God damn
have
it.
any personal experience with. That's more of Shaun's territory.
Like for me, I'm thinking because I'm quite new. I've been doing it for about a year now for music producing, and I would think of myself as more of a, I guess, upbeat kind of music, like happier. And I've heard people like Rogue. He does his song, I don't know, Daybreak or whatever, has happy vocals. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it, but you've pretty much answered my question.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call.
if you
I
want happy,
appreciate
just
it,
stick with
sir.
major keys.
Yeah, if you want happy, stick with major keys.
That's definitely happy, yeah.
Okay.
That's the fastest and most assured way of doing that.
Major. All
Definitely.
right. Sweet.
It's like Geth from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Stephen.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
You're welcome. Cool. All right.
Take
That's
care, man.
about it for today's live stream. Thanks all the live viewers for coming in, and thank our lovely panelists, Xilent, Direct, and
Thank
Shaun
you,
Law.
bro.
Y'all are awesome.
Oh, I'm lovely.
Yeah, I wanted to apologize probably on behalf of everyone else as well that we didn't manage to answer all the questions and get all the calls as well.
It's true.
Yeah, I think the only question I saw that I didn't respond to it was pasted in the chat a ton of times was the kill the noise stuff. just wait and it'll come to you. Don't worry.
I'm not gonna find it. I was gonna try and find that Buddy Girl, my helicopter, my Rufflecopter goes hoy hoy hoy. That's that recording I made, but I don't know where it is. Cool. Anyway, so this live stream typically happens on Saturdays, but I'm pretty flexible with it. But usually you can expect it to happen on Saturdays at 6 p.m. EST -5 GMT. The pre-show starts at 5, although I might change that to 5:30 if things continue to go as well. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And as usual,